Welcome to the Genius Platform Agreement training module. In this training, we will do an introduction to the Genius Platform Agreement and understand the different options available to ISVs. The Genius Platform Agreement serves two purposes. It is a legal contract. By signing the platform agreement, merchants are agreeing to the terms, conditions, and pricing outlined in the platform agreement. It is also used as a tool to relay information to the deployment team. As you have learned, there are numerous features that merchants can use with their Genius solutions. ISVs will certify the features that they think their merchants may need or want. If an ISV is not certified to a specific feature, their merchant cannot utilize it. With this, most features are automatically made available to merchants via their point-of-sale system. However, we use the platform agreement to know if a merchant wants certain features enabled or not. The platform agreement is TSYS branded. However, until further notice, the contract will reference Cayenne as the company the merchant is agreeing with to the terms and conditions. The statement merchants receive on the third day of each month is TSYS branded, and when they contact support, they will only know the TSYS brand. Please note, this statement is specifically related to Genius fees and separate from the TSYS acquiring statement. For more information regarding Genius support, reference the Genius Sales Boarding Process training. So let's jump in. Let's start with the Merchant Information section. All fields in the Merchant Information section are required. One platform agreement is needed for each legal entity. For instance, if the merchant has 10 locations, all under one legal entity, only one platform agreement is needed. Or if the merchant has 5 locations under one legal entity and another 5 locations under a different legal entity, 2 separate platform agreements are needed. The state of jurisdiction is referencing what state the legal entity was created in. Please note that it is not always the same state that the merchant locations are in. Customer engagement bundles. This section is used to identify what hardware solution or solutions the merchant will be using and the associated costs and fees. Merchants can either lease or purchase their countertop solution. Regardless, there is always a monthly fee. The top screenshot is an example of a merchant leasing 2 countertop devices. The bottom screenshot is an example of a merchant purchasing 3 non-P2PE countertop devices. We will go over how to note if the merchant will be using an MX915 or 925 later on in this training. We will also point out where the one-time $39 injection fee is on the platform agreement, which only applies to purchased 915s, 925s, and Genius handheld devices. While a merchant can both purchase and lease MX devices, that scenario is unlikely. Merchants can also lease or purchase Genius Merchants can also either lease or purchase Genius handheld devices. Regardless, there is always a monthly fee. The top screenshot is an example of a merchant leasing 4 Genius handheld devices. The bottom screenshot is an example of a merchant purchasing 3 Genius handheld devices. As mentioned in the previous slide, we will go over the one-time $39 injection fee later on in this training. Just like the countertop solution, while unlikely, merchants can both purchase and lease handheld devices if they so choose. The Genius Mini device is always purchased outright by the merchant. Just like countertop and handheld, there is a monthly fee, which is per lane or device. The top screenshot is an example of a merchant using 3 Genius Mini Bluetooth devices. The middle screenshot is an example of a merchant using 4 Genius Mini audio jack devices. And the bottom screenshot is an example of a merchant using 2 Genius Mini Bluetooth devices and 1 Genius Mini audio jack device. As you can see with these examples, merchants can purchase however many devices they want and can mix and match audio jack and Bluetooth devices. Additional options. This section is used to indicate what Genius value-added features to enable and the associated costs. Smart P2PE is an elective add-on currently available on the Countertop solution. There is a $4.95 monthly fee per device. In the example below, the merchant is enrolling their 6 Countertop solutions in Smart P2PE. Now remember, to qualify for P2PE SAQ PCI reduced scope, merchants can only use validated P2PE solutions, meaning they cannot use Genius Mini, a standalone terminal, a virtual terminal, or any other device other than the MX915 or MX925. Device accessories. Merchants can purchase additional device accessories during their initial setup or at any time thereafter. In the screenshot above, this merchant is purchasing 3 additional countertop stands and 2 of the handheld multi-charging stations. Merchants may purchase additional stands if they plan on moving their countertop device either to different parts of their store or to different locations. The merchant may also be using quite a few Genius handheld devices. The charging station allows them to charge all the devices at once in one spot. With all purchased countertop and handheld devices, there is an additional one-time $39 injection fee per device. Please note there is no injection fee for Genius Mini. The screenshot above is an example of a merchant who purchased 8 devices that require the injection fee. Merchants using Genius Countertop can enable the splash screen feature. There is a $4.95 monthly fee per device. They can enable splash screen on as many countertop devices as they want. Meaning, if the merchant is using, for example, 20 countertop devices, they do not need to enable all 20 with splash. Additionally, if they are using other Genius solutions like handheld and mini in addition to countertop, they can still enable splash screen on as many countertop devices as they so choose. Later on in this training, we will go over how to know which locations will have splash enabled. In the below screenshot, the merchant is enabling splash screen on 12 countertop devices. As a reminder, splash is not currently supported on Genius Handheld or Genius Mini. Google Local Inventory Ads. Any merchant who is using a point of sale certified to line item display is eligible for Google Local Inventory Ads. The monthly fee is dependent on how many locations or MIDs the merchant will be enrolling in Google LIA. Additionally, the merchant can enroll however many locations into Google LIA as they so choose. For instance, if the merchant has 10 total locations but only wants to enroll 6 of them in Google LIA, that is fine. The screenshot below is an example of a merchant enrolling 6 locations into Google LIA. The Analytics dashboard is not currently an available feature. At the present time, please leave this section blank. Card Account Updater. Any merchant who is using a point of sale certified to the Vault can enroll in Card Account Updater. There is a $19.95 monthly fee per MID or location. There is an additional 15-cent per updated token. So for example, if there is a month where a merchant does not have any tokens or card account numbers updated, it is just $19.95 for that month. If in a month there are 20 tokens updated, it would be $22.95. That's $19.95 for the monthly fee and $3 for the updated tokens or card numbers that were updated. The below screenshot is an example of a merchant enrolling 1 location into Card Account Updater. Additional features. This section is used to relay what Genius features a merchant wants enabled. Cashback is a feature that merchants can use with any Genius solution, provided their point of sale is certified to it. Merchants can enable standard prompts or custom prompts with a limit of $100. The first screenshot below is an example of a merchant enabling standard prompts for cashback. The second screenshot below is an example of a merchant enabling custom prompts of $10, $15, $50, and $75 with a limit of $100. As a reminder, the merchant is responsible for the fees associated with the total transaction amount. For example, if the bill was for $50 worth of goods or services and the customer then took $20 in cash back, the merchant is responsible for the fees of the entire $70 bill. With either standard or custom prompts, customers can click Other and enter in any dollar amount up to the predetermined limit. Countertip is a feature that merchants can use with any Genius solution, provided their point of sale is certified to it. Merchants can enable standard prompts or custom prompts. The first screenshot is an example of a merchant enabling standard prompts for Countertip. The second screenshot is an example of a merchant enabling custom prompts of 5%, 15%, 20%, 25%, and 30%. Similar to cashback, the merchant is responsible for the fees associated with the total transaction amount, tip amount included. With either standard or custom prompts, the customer can click Other and enter in a dollar amount to tip. Level 3 data is a feature that merchants can enable provided their point of sale is certified to use it. To enable the Level 3 data feature, simply check the Yes box on the platform agreement. Line item display is a feature merchants can enable on either Genius Countertop or Genius Handheld, provided that their point of sale is certified to it. To enable the line item display feature, simply check Yes on the platform agreement. Store and forward is not currently available. At the present time, please leave this section blank. Payment acceptance types. This section is used to know what payment acceptance types the merchant wants enabled. In the first screenshot below, the merchant is enabling credit, PIN debit, and NFC. In the second screenshot below, the merchant is enabling credit, PIN debit, NFC, EBT Cash, and EBT Snap. In almost all scenarios, merchants should be enabled to accept credit, debit, and NFC. As a reminder, if a merchant is enabling EBT Snap, their 7-digit FNS number needs to be populated on the platform agreement. Miscellaneous fields. The Merchant Services Processor field should be left blank. The Annual Volume field is asking for an estimated total volume on a yearly basis. This field is required. The Annual Transaction field is asking for an estimated total number of transactions on a yearly basis. This field is also required. Lastly, the SIC code field is asking for the applicable SIC or MCC code for that merchant. This field is required. Card Not Present solutions. This section is used when a merchant will be utilizing a card not present solution such as Genius Checkout or the encrypted keypad. There are 3 offerings of Genius Checkout: our basic Genius Checkout solution, Genius Checkout plus Count Standard, and Genius Checkout plus Count Enterprise. When ISVs integrate to Genius Checkout, the Count feature is part of the Checkout API. This means that if a merchant is using a point of sale that is certified to Genius Checkout, they can enroll in either of the Count offerings. The screenshot below is an example of a merchant using Genius Checkout for one website or e-commerce account. The screenshot below is an example of a merchant using Genius Checkout plus Count Standard for one website or e-commerce account. And this screenshot is an example of a merchant using Genius Checkout plus Count Enterprise for one website or e-commerce account. The encrypted keypad does not require any software or plugins and has no fee after the initial purchase. The top screenshot is an example of a merchant purchasing 15 M100 encrypted keypads, and the bottom screenshot is an example of a merchant purchasing 10 M100 encrypted keypads and one M130 keypad. The M130 keypad has the option of a magstripe reader. Genius Checkout is currently connected to the Salesforce Commerce Cloud plugin and Magento plugin. If a merchant will be using one of these plugins, check off the applicable box on the platform agreement. The top screenshot is an example of a merchant using the Salesforce plugin, and the bottom screenshot is an example of a merchant using the Magento plugin. Payment Gateway Services. This section will cover how to fill out the platform agreement if a merchant will just be using the gateway. Some ISVs will only integrate to the TSYS gateway and not to a specific Genius solution. In those instances, TSYS provides gateway credentials to merchants that integrate with their point-of-sale system. There is a $9.95 monthly fee per MID or location. In the example below, the merchant is using the gateway with one account. Financial institution information. As mentioned in earlier trainings, merchants will have two separate statements and ACH deductions from TSYS. One will be for their acquiring fees and one will be for their Genius fees. The Genius Platform Agreement is separate from the merchant processing application. The bank account information designated on the platform agreement indicates the account from which the Genius fees will be deducted. The bank account that TSYS deducts the Genius fees from does not need to be the same as the bank account TSYS deducts the acquiring fees from. Please note that the bank name, which is listed as the depository bank, routing number, and account number are all required fields. Merchant signatures. The merchant name field is where the merchant's legal name will go. The by field should be left blank when sending it to the merchant because that's where the merchant is going to sign. The name field is for the legal name of the person signing the platform agreement, and the title field is for the title of that person. The date is for the date that the platform agreement was signed. Exhibit B locations. The last page of the platform agreement is used to note all of the merchant's physical locations as well as what solutions and features will be needed at each location. The equipment field is used to note the solution or device that will be used at that location's line. The quantity field is used to note how many of that solution or device will be needed at that location's line. Genius Additional Features is used to specify what features the merchant wants enabled at that location's line, and the DBA location address is used to signify the store number or specific DBA and physical address. In the example to the right, the merchant has two physical locations. At store number 1, they are using 3 MX925s with line item display and cashback enabled, and one Genius Mini device. Store number 1 may be their main location and the address tied to their website, so Genius Checkout will be used and associated with that location. Store number 2 will be using one MX925, also with line item display and cashback enabled, and one Genius Mini device. In the example to the right, the merchant has one physical location. They are using 5 MX925s with line item display, counter tip, splash screen, and Google local inventory ads enabled, and 3 Genius handheld devices with line item display and counter tip enabled. In the example to the right, the merchant has 4 physical locations. They are using 2 MX925s at all 4 locations. Line item display and splash screen are enabled at all of them, and Google local inventory ads is enabled at store numbers 1, 2, and 4.